Hey guys, and yeah, finally back in again, not studio surroundings if you're watching this on YouTube. But yeah, it is kind of like a bit of a makeshift at the moment. I've got my beautiful little studio lights up. I'm trying to get this as best as possible, so that we can have a proper YouTube and podcast setup. But it is what it is. I got to deal with this for now. But yeah, it's been 3 weeks of absence. I highly apologize. The first couple of weeks I came down with a bit of bronchitis. It affected my throat quite a bit. So although I knew the audio wasn't going to be up to standard, I just also didn't quite have the energy. I was feeling down. It wasn't COVID. But yeah, we are where we are now. I've got a lot to discuss with you guys, and the first episode coming back, I was stuck in a place between where I am in my career and my perspective on this whole thing, because I've kind of had a bit of mixed feelings as far as safaris, professional hunting, outfitting, the whole bang shoot's concerned. And the reason for that is because I haven't really found the place in the market where everyone kind of benefits. But anyway, in saying that, I've had an interesting time. I've just finished a 14-day safari up in the Committee's Drift area. That's just outside of Grahamstown in the Eastern Cape. Beautiful. And what I've taken from that hunt, I've learned so much, and it's crazy to think that it needed a hunt like of that magnitude to really hone in and refurbish my skills, to say that. Last year I was blessed with a couple of scenarios where, I said it in my post, and I'm not ashamed to say it now. I'll be the first one to admit it, that I sort of became like this meat factory PH, and it's quite a harsh term to use, but if you look at it from a perspective, that's kind of what it really is. And I'll never forget a good mate of mine on hunting the one concession that we're hunting together. He just said to me, he said, you got to hunt the properties for what they are. And yes, it kind of boiled down to me really looking at, and when he said that, it made instant sense. And what he meant by it was that, you could drive around a couple of properties, no matter the acreage, spot a couple of different herds of animals, and really just go up and kind of like pick your choose, And for me, it was kind of like a bittersweet moment, because I had been blinded by the fact that, you kind of take these opportunities as they come, and we were rushing into a lot of things, and instead I didn't really focus on the clients, and I didn't focus on giving those particular clients the experiences, because it's not that they don't know, it's just you've been in those scenarios thousands and thousands and thousands of different times, and you kind of know how to handle the situation, where to go and walk, what rock to climb up on. Excuse me. So for me, I lost that connection with the walk and stalk field, because I kind of knew it was kind of like a chess game. You kind of knew every single step you were going to take to get into those positions for a comfortable shot on a specific species or whatever the case may be. So for me to go out of that comfort zone and really be put into a situation where I needed to hone in on some of the skills that I've developed was something very, very special. And just going back to what I was saying is that as professional hunters, we kind of rush into these whole things. So, just get the walking stalk out of the way, get the client up onto that specific rock that you've shot off of 1,000 different times, get him the blue wildebeest, load it on the track, go to the next spot. Okay, we see this is where the blessback are. Do the same scenario. Okay, I'm going to climb up onto this hill. So, and that's what I meant by meat factory. I was used to the fact that we were so good and so understanding of what we were doing and where we were doing it, of our environment and all that sort of stuff, because we've been in those situations for so long that we kind of took away from the experience of this specific hunter. And although you were shooting good quality animals, you were loading a bucket full of animals, getting up there, and they weren't really having the opportunity to really appreciate what goes in behind that sort of thing. And they don't understand. And I'm not saying, you know, when I say these things, it's not like I'm talking down on anyone. It's just sorry guys, my throat's still a bit dry. The weather's turned for worse here. We've had a bit of gustly days, so the dust and stuff's just got me a bit of a throat irritation, so just excuse me if I am coughing on mic and stuff. Yeah, so you know, it kind of takes away from that experience. And when I say these sort of things, I don't mean to talk down on the clients, not at all. It's just we've been put in those specific situations so many times before that we kind of take away from, you know, the full experience of having a blue wildebeest hunt. I mean, I hunted a blue wildebeest. I've hunted hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of blue wildebeest. I hunted a blue wildebeest now in a black wattle forest. And I say black wattle forest because the property wasn't massive, but where they were situated was in this wattle forest, and it was hectic. It was crazy because you weaving in and out. It kind of it reminded me of like a North African hunt for buffalo or something like that. You're just weaving in and out. The branches are cutting your jackets. I mean, they're smacking you in the faces and stuff. And all you kind of seeing are glimpses of these wildebeest because the wind's twirling inside there. Anyway, cut a long story short, you kind of have to hone in on your skills. And I was using everything. I was using smell. I was using feel. I was using situations, which was pretty cool for me because although I knew I kind of had it in the back of my head, I needed to prove to myself that I still had it, you know. So it was beautiful. It was a really special way of hunting them. You know, you turn in your scope right down to 3 power, just for those close quarter shots. So yeah, it was interesting, and that's what I say. And when I said meat factory pHs, it is what it is, and that's exactly what it is. I got used to the fact of myself loading half your client's package on the first morning because you knew the sort of situation scenarios you were putting yourself into. And I realized there and then that it kind of took away from the whole experience on specific animals. For instance, the blue wildebeest, it should be a lot harder than what we were doing, but because we were in those situations and we knew every step we were going to take to hunt those blue wildebeest, it kind of took away from that difficult experience. So when you did get to shoot a really nice animal, a really nice bull, the client didn't fully appreciate or didn't fully understand what he had just done. So for us, that's what it is. I've always said in my career that more is not better. You know, you want to share an experience, and you don't want to take away from anything that, you know, the animal deserves, and that's what I've tried. So for instance, we get into the Committee's Drift area now. It's thick there, guys. It's extremely thick. There's beautiful speckbone trees. So it's just an outstanding place to hunt. It's frustrating as hell. So we get in there. I can see the terrain. It's thick. It's what I enjoy. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with me today. It must be the weather. It's what I enjoy, but as well, it really, like, it affords you that opportunity that you need to really look at yourself and say, okay guys, listen, this is how we're going to do it. This is what we need to do. These are skills that we need to use here. So for instance, on the kudu, it became a frustrating chess game. And when I got there, obviously my first idea is to grab one of the guys that are from the area, drive around the property, get a couple of vantage points. And from my previous experiences, you can kind of understand where you know, where your next move is going to come from, or what animal you perceive that's gonna have, you know, come out in those sort of areas and stuff. So for me, that's what it was all about. And yeah, I got into this position where, you know, it almost looked too good to be true that the kudu should be coming out, and they did. But it was to try and close that distance, you know, from about 450 to 300 yards. It was trying to close that distance was challenging, especially for somebody that doesn't understand the area. So for instance, you're taking your client, I mean, it's like you're walking on eggshells all the time. You're really just trying to get into position where he can be comfortable with taking the shot, but it's to close that distance that's the challenge, you know. So for instance, we saw a couple of kudu each and every single day. Nice, beautiful bulls. The gentlemen that we're hunting on, the Webbers, they've done an incredible job in managing their kudu genetics to be, I would say, probably some of the best in the Eastern Cape. So yeah, it got us to that point where we were like, okay, you know what, we've had a couple of opportunities, we've seen a couple of bulls, and now it's time to pull out all the stops. So on that day we saw two bulls chasing females. The one younger bull, look, on other opportunities, last day kudu hunt, I probably would have taken that bull. He just wasn't mature enough. He kind of had the full figure 8 turn, but he was one of those bulls that were going to go and point forward and kind of flare out. He's a really nice bull. I would definitely give him another season. So he was chasing the females, and then this other bull, if you guys have seen it on my Instagram, I think sorry guys, yeah, my throat just kind of got away from me there. It's a bit scratchy at the moment. So yeah, like I said, we've had a couple of windy days, so the dust has kind of enhanced all my senses. Yeah, so kind of this big bull sort of like was like a satellite bull as far as I understand what the elk side of things were. And he was just hovering around, you know, trying to get his opportunity, obviously well past his prime. I don't know if you guys saw the pictures on the Instagram where there was just no teeth left whatsoever. So yeah, it was something special. As soon as he stepped out, I knew that was our bull. We had been chasing him we had seen him in the area for a couple of times. He was always thereabouts, but wasn't kind of joining the herd. And his neck wasn't as swollen, so that was the first telltale sign for me that he was kind of like a deteriorating bull. And then as well as towards the rear end, I kind of picked up on his hip bone. So for me, that was a perfect opportunity to try and get in close. He made the fatal mistake of stepping away from the females. The younger bull wasn't putting too much pressure on him. I think he had realized. So he made the fatal mistake, kind of like swifted off to the left hand side of us. So if we were glassing down the creek, he was swifting off to the left. And I kind of told the clients and my tracker, I said, come, we need to get into position quickly. We was about, at that stage it was 420 yards. I said, if we can close the distance by another 200 yards, we'll be good. And now it's not steep, it wasn't a steep creek, it was actually kind of flat. But we used the shoulder height shrubs to kind of make our way across. So as he was moving and feeding, we were also swifting across pretty slowly. And you know, we were just trying to maneuver twigs, kind of just watch every step as we put our feet down, because on that hillside there's like shale, like this black shale. Gets quite tricky underfoot. So anyway, we creep along, we get up into about 150 yards from the bull. He doesn't present us with a shot, but we can see him still grazing. And we just waited, came out, and he gave us full shoulder. and he didn't know we were there or anything. So the client pulled the trigger, and I'm sure everyone that's hunted grey ghosts in South Africa would have kudu fever. And the gentleman at the time, shame, it's a beautiful thing to witness, because it kind of knows, it adds to that respect of that animal, the magnitude of that specific animal. So yeah, I just the moment just got there, and I just saw the shooting stick shake, and I was holding, trying to have a support, so he would put his elbow in my elbow, and just pulled the shot, completely missed. But with that, the kudu didn't realize where we were and where we were coming from, so he kind of twisted like 180 degrees and kind of started making his way towards us, and not running or anything, just literally walking. And at that stage, the females had obviously ran off, and he just came closer and closer and closer till about 70 yards. I think he kind of got a glimpse of us and knew what we were, turned broadside, and eventually we didn't have much time, but my client put a beautiful shot in on the shoulder. He didn't run 20 yards, and it was done. So yeah, that was the experience that I was kind of trying to explain to people, is that's the skills that I've developed and I needed to hone in on, and I kind of took those things for granted, because like where we were hunting, it's you knew every move you were going to make. Take yourself out of the comfort zone, put yourself into difficult situations, and you've got to entrust in the skills that you've developed over so many years to try and close those distances. So it is what it is. It was a beautiful hunt at the end of the day, magnificent kudu, really part of the conservation program that I've tried to develop in myself, is to try and understand the best possible animals I can take at that time. It's got nothing to do with size, everything to do with age and conservation. So once I harvested that bull, or shot that bull, I knew that we were kind of in the right track. And then and the safari went on. We had some wonderful opportunities, like I mentioned, on blue and black wildebeest. Shot a stunning impala, and then the Inyala to end everything off. The weather was miserable, a lot of rain. It wasn't cold, so there was a lot of rain, but in the Committee's Drift area, it's quite warmer climate. So once we got down there to a place where I figured that there would be a lot of movement, specifically from kudu and Nyala. Bushbuck would tend to sit tight. We set up and we just waited. Spotted a couple of females making their move, and then we saw a nice male. Beautiful ivory tips, but we kind of just waited out, and lo and behold, right underneath us, we were sitting on like a little krantz looking down into a creek area. Similar situation to the kudu, but a much steeper creek. We were shooting down, and right here in front of us, 50 something yards, this beautiful Inyala bull just steps out, and he just had the shape, he had the bell, he had the shape, he had the flare, he had the ivory. He was with one female, so I kind of judged, and when they sort of get like this, I call it a bulldog face on them, on the front, they kind of get like characteristic swollen eyebrows, nice deep rings around their eyes, a few wrinkles on their face, just to indicate that it's a nice mature bull. And had a good look at him, and we knew that was the one we needed to take. And yeah, without hesitation, the shot went a little bit far back, but fortunately with the dog, that's become one of my best tools in that area, has been my dog Kelly. She's been absolutely exceptional. I mean, with the waterback, she pushed him straight into the dam where we were, because it was a very far back shot in the stomach. Pushed him into the dam. We managed to get a second shot in, because in that area it's just so thick there. I mean, you could literally, if that waterback had died tomorrow, you would have walked straight past him and not even known he was there. So yeah, brilliant setup, brilliant. But getting back to my point is that, you know, we shared that experience with the clients. Although it was a very special experience for me, I shared that with my client. And it's something I never wanted to take away from those specific animals, those magnificent animals. They really are. I mean, hunting kudu in the Eastern Cape is something that should be on everyone's bucket list as far as safaris are concerned. And to have that experience, obviously not missing the first shot, but the rest of it, to have that experience is something very, very special. So yeah, it was a wonderful situation, wonderful setup. And like I said, it kind of got me out of my comfort zone into a point where I believed that I had accumulated enough knowledge and understanding of the environment over the years, which led to that success. So I'm very, very happy with how things turned out. And then yeah, like I said, just getting back to the point is that, guys, when everyone comes out to South Africa, it's not about the number of animals that you kill. There's a market for that. There are people that enjoy that, and there are people that do that. And I gotta respect that sort of side of the industry. It's not probably the prettiest side of the industry, but you gotta respect it, because that's what brings the dollars in at the end of the day. And like I said, no matter what form of hunting you are doing, it is contributing massively to conservation of our magnificent wildlife. So for me, it's not about whether it's right or wrong. It's just about understanding what kind of clientele that you're dealing with at that specific moment, as well as how you are as an individual hunter. How would you want to go out there and share those sort of moments with people? Do you just want to shoot, load up, pack out, head up, and that's it? Or do you really want to embrace people into the whole environment? For me, that's what I want to do. I mean, I don't want to just go over to North America. One of my bucket list animals is a bugling elk in archery season, and I don't want to just go out and smash him on the first day and, you know, that's it. And you know, really walk up to him 5 yards away from him, put an arrow in it. I know there's opportunities that will come up like that, and there are hunters that have had those really rare opportunities. But in saying that, you know, you want to have the full experience. You want to hone in. I want to hear people call him in. I want to understand why he's moving that way, and really just dive deep into the whole scenario. And that's what I think a lot of people and a lot of hunters want to do when they come out to South Africa, especially on certain species like the kudu, like the inyala. For me, it's the bushbuck as well. So yeah, guys, just take a moment to really understand and take a step back and understand that there's a lot of clients out there that aren't just meat factory clients. They don't just want to load buckies full of animals, head back to the lodge, drop them off, and be like, oh, I shot 20 something animals, you know, today. There are guys out there that are happy to shoot 1 or 2 every second day, as long as they're enjoying the experience. And that's become the big part. You know, you don't have to harvest animals every single day on a safari, and a lot of people put pressure on themselves if they don't. So it's a tricky situation, and I'm trying to figure out the right wording for it, because I don't want to offend anyone, because like I said earlier, there is space in the industry for those kind of hunters, for those kind of outfitters as well. But for me, I prefer to really indulge in the experience and indulge in the opportunities that have presented themselves at those particular times, hunting new properties, and yeah, just refreshing the skills, you know. So yeah, if you're watching this, sorry, excuse me, just turning around, I'm just trying to get time on this, because I don't think this is going to be a long podcast episode, but it's good to be back. I just want to say a very big thank you to everybody that's followed me. The last couple of months haven't been easy, But yeah, we're definitely working on some really exciting things. I start another hunt at the end of this month, so I'm going to try and generate as many podcasts as possible. And then in the first 3 weeks of July, unfortunately, I'll be completely out of action. I won't have any social media. I won't have any podcasting, any YouTube videos. So yeah, we just stay tuned for that one, because as soon as I get back, I'll be flat out into it again. We've got some exciting episodes coming up. I'm so excited about it. We've been working really, really hard on trying to work on my YouTube episodes and stuff. We've got a lot of content that's just waiting. We're doing a couple of edits, voiceovers, that sort of stuff. So yeah, if you haven't yet and you're on this, watching this through YouTube, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications, and then and if you enjoyed this episode, drop a thumbs up. For those of you that are listening on all the other platforms, guys, I'll try and generate as much content as possible. I just want to say a very big thank you to everybody that has supported me thus far. It's been one hell of a journey, and I've been so blessed along the way, and I just can't do it without you guys. Thank you for all the words of encouragement, and to keep going. Advertising slots are open again, so if you guys would like to advertise on the podcast, or if you would know anyone, or if you recommend anyone as far as being a guest on the podcast, it will be highly appreciated, as well as just start any sort of discussions on any one of my social media platforms. So with that all being said, from myself, if you are, happy hunting, stay safe, stay blessed, and stay humble. We'll catch up with you guys soon. Cheers.